Good afternoon. My name is Ramana. I'm part of this organization called Swarupa. It's a nonprofit based in California, but we have a development team in Hyderabad. So what I'm presenting today is a content management platform for Vedic scriptures. And the inspiration or the vision for this is from Swami Sri Atmananda from Satya Mission. And a lot of the, I want to acknowledge Dr. Amba Kulkarni, Professor Hewitt, and Oliver Helwig for their phenomenal work they've already done and that we are taking advantage of to come up with some of the segmentation and the morphological analysis for Vedic padas. So there is some gap between Sanskrit and Vedic padas, and we've taken care of some of that with the help of Dr. Amba's team. In particular, Sriram was very helpful in doing that. So what we are offering is this, what the vision was is to enable the entire humanity to have access to the wisdom that's locked up in the Vedas. And the way that Swamiji has given guidance is to come up with, first of all, core data set or a foundational data set, which has the mantras, the padapata, and the grammatical analysis, and make that available on a platform on which various scholars can utilize that and come up with their own ways of analyzing the meanings and so on and so forth. And based on that, other people can write some higher abstracted articles and so on and so forth. That's why we chose this idea of a content management platform. It's similar to something like a medium.com, if you're familiar with. So the unified data set that we've accumulated so far is the 5 samhitas. Rig Veda Samhita was a single recension of these. Yajurveda Samhita, Shukla Yajurveda, Krishna Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. And the commentaries associated with that, Sri Dayanand Saraswati ji and also Sayanacharya ji's. And from a processing perspective, the derived content, we utilized Sanskrit Heritage Engine, where we pass the padas from each Veda mantra and get the analysis. And SH is used first because it gives a comprehensive analysis, doesn't limit things. Some sadhani, which is the next level of analysis. And then finally, if we don't find the pada, we look up in DCS, but that's only for Rig Veda and Atharva Veda. And then we have some curated content that some Mahatmas or Sanskrit scholars are adding to this platform. And then we also integrated the Veda Samhita mantras, audios. For every mantra, we captured audios by processing from various Veda Pathashalas. We've collected audio, and we used speech-to-text and text-to-speech analysis to take for example, a sukta level audio clip and break it up into chunks so that we can get mantra level audios. I'll show you some of that. And Swamiji also mentioned to us that this should be accessible to across all kinds of devices. So we have developed this web app and also iOS and Android apps. And I'll show you a demonstration of the iOS app. The next step is basically using this framework or repository of information. We will encourage many Sanskrit scholars to utilize this data and come up with their own interpretation of the mantras. And we're hoping that in particular, Swamiji has suggested that we capture something like an Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, and Adhyatmic meanings, and not limited to the way analysis or meanings were derived in the past. And also support some AI and other new technologies. I think there were a couple of presentations that are taking advantage of this raw data set that can be fed into like an LLM or something else to develop like a conversational interface and other applications. So this is the text data processing that we do. We captured from various spreadsheets, manually entered data, and so on and so forth. The Samhita mantras, and we cleaned it up by looking at manually verified the data and then fed it to Sanskrit Heritage first, and then next step to Samsadhani, and then finally to DCS. Extracted data from DCS, and padas that were not processed, we manually took care of them, and that is the manual processing step. And Dr. Pataskar and Dr. Sathe were very helpful in doing this. They're from Pune. And we also took care of, before the padas are sent to these engines, we processed the Itikarana, cleaned that up, upasargas and avagrahas, the compound terms, because these were not handled by the engines. So that's how we kind of loaded the data. This is the process for that. And then as far as the audio is concerned, so we took the sukta level audio clips, because when they chant in these Veda Pathshalas, typically they just it's a continuous chant. They don't stop, give a break after every mantra. And we use this silence to split initially, and then made it consistent so that the Whisper large language, a large V2 model that we use that does the speech recognition, we found that if the spacing is somewhat consistent, it performed better. So we took the silence and extended it, like we created like 1 second silences in between wherever the silence was noticed. And then the transcript generated basically, it's not exact match to the original text, but it gave us as it sounds, essentially, the mapping. And then we created for this whole Samhita this predicted text corpus, and then we compared it with the actual mantra text, and we were able to, by matching it, we were able to derive timestamps for not only every pada but also for the entire mantra, and we were then able to split the audio into mantras, into mantra level clips. So that's the presentation, and let me go into the web app first. So as I mentioned, this is a content management platform. So you'll see a whole bunch of stuff, people writing articles on various topics, but I'll focus here on scriptures. And the 5 samhitas that I talked about, Rig Veda, and as an example, we show all the mandalas, and you click on a mandala, takes you to the sukta list, and you can play the audio. You can upload new audio clips. You can edit these definitions, and so on and so forth. At the sukta level, if you click, it goes into the mantras. And for each mantra, there's a whole bunch of information that we capture. The deity, the chanda, and the rishi involved, and then the padapata, individual terms. I'll come back to this a little later. Anvayam by different people. I think it's set to English. So, for example, Maharshi Dayananji and Sainacharya, and so on and so forth. Padarth, again, Maharshi Dayananji. And attributes like that, bhavarth, commentary on it, the purpose for this mantra, how to use this mantra, seeker experiences. As people utilize this mantra in their sadhana, what do they experience if they can document some of that information? What's the uniqueness of this mantra? And And Swamiji has always mentioned that the deity and the chanda have a very specific meaning, and that needs to be captured. And that's why we had these attributes where people can enter information. And connection with of the mantra with the sukta, what is the relationship there, and connection with the Upanishad. These are his understanding, from his experiential understanding. He has come up with these attributes, and that's how we've listed them here. Going back to Padarth, this is where the Padapata. So you click on the Pada. This is where we do the segmentation and morphological analysis and fetch the dictionary meaning. And we use the ambuda.org. You heard Arun Kumar earlier today. We use an interface that he provided to get the dictionaries. So it provides the grammar here, the morphological analysis, and various access to various dictionaries. From DCS, we get the meanings. Shabdasagara, for example, and so on and so forth. So that's, and you can play the audio for this particular mantra. And we've recorded different styles of chanting. Looks like I'm running out of time. I quickly do the mobile app demo. It's a little bit tricky. The AV Viz back there helped me figure this out. So I have to start QuickTime and all right. This is the iOS app. It's identical to the content, and the functionality is identical to the web app, except that there's no way to edit information. On their web app, I didn't show you some of the editing capabilities, like the grammar and so on and so forth. You can edit. Same thing, you go down here, click on scriptures. Let me see, maybe I should do this right. Normally it's pretty snappy, but I guess the internet connection. So click on the Rig Veda. So it's pretty much the same, the mantra, the Padapata, Anvaya, Padarth, and so on and so forth. So you go into Padapata, click on any term. Shows the grammar at the bottom and the dictionary meaning. You can click on that. I think I'm running out of time, so thank you so much. Any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you.
Development by competent pilots. But I'm kind of worried about the blog. By ignorance, crowdsourcing.
Yeah,
It's dangerous.
so there's a team that we're building that would be actually the content as the people post it is not going to get published right away. It'll go through a curation process of people verifying it either from both. We're recruiting people now from Sanskrit scholars, Vedic Sanskrit scholars who will be able to do that.
Without nonsense.
Search for a particular mantra in
Yes.
more ways than one?
Search for the mantra?
Yes.
Yes.
Will it go through all the Sanketas?
All the Samhitas.
Right.
You can search for Rishi, Devata, Chanda, a particular term, Pada.
Thank you, sir. It's a great work on Veda.
Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Next presentation.